Hello, welcome back to Movie Theater Explorer. This is Brent, your Movie Theater Explorer here. And today I'm going to be talking about some of the movies that I've recently watched in the last couple of weeks. Three of them in theaters. So I'm just going to go, and then a few of them that I've watched at home as well. Um, First off, we'll start with the movies that I saw in theaters. So right now, the first one I'm going to discuss about is Hamnet. Obviously, I've this movie came out like a couple months ago, and I think it came out the beginning of December, and it was definitely on my radar. But with a lot going on, it wasn't an immediate one that I was um, making it right down to the theater to see it right away. But it was always on the back of my mind, and obviously with the Oscars um, announced and all that, I just decided to go ahead and check this one out of mere curiosity, and it was still playing, and so yep, I went to go see it. It was playing in a. I went to my local Cinemark to see it, and it was one of their smaller auditoriums, and it was on a discount day, and it was actually a fairly packed auditorium. Um, so my feelings on this movie, I thought it was a very good movie. Um, it's definitely more of a drama. It's not a very happy movie at all. Um, for anyone that's probably seen it, they probably know what I'm referring to. But but yeah, so basically, it involves William Shakespeare and kind of the inspiration on what led him to create the play Hamlet, and focuses on quite a bit of his family. Um, this was all basically depicted in the trailer, um, and so obviously tragedy occurs, and just how the story's put together. So hopefully, I'm getting her name right. Chloe Zhao was the one that directed this. I've only seen one other movie by her, which was Eternals from uh, like 4 years ago in a few months, and so I've only seen one of her other movies, and this one definitely has like a very it's definitely a smaller budget movie. It feels more like an independent movie, and and just how like there's a lot of shots that were really well captured in the movie. Like it was some pretty like again the cinematography isn't like the cinematography as far as the framing of the shots and some of the movement at times. So it's definitely good cinematography and definitely a lot of gorgeous shots and definitely really good production design and feels a lot more natural. Um, a lot of the shots felt like they were in a longer like it takes or more longer to get more of the raw emotion out of it, and I thought that was actually very well done for getting the best out of these performances. And it definitely, yeah, it was definitely very well edited, very well put together, very well performed. Yeah, the performances were great, and yeah, just again a good story. Definitely very sad. Probably moments you'll get choked up, probably, or cry and all that. So again, it's definitely a very sad movie and all that. But I, if you're into drama, it's definitely into like. Oh, another part that was interesting. And again, it's been a week and a half, so I don't have a lot of the big references in mind. But if you, there are a few like references to Shakespeare plays here and there, which I thought were kind of fun. And again, I'm not well versed into the world of Shakespeare. I have read a few of his plays, and I am familiar with a lot of the plots here and there, but I couldn't tell. I don't know every single line, but there were references that were there. So anyway, um, definitely if you're big into dramas, out of curiosity, wanted to check this one out, I do recommend checking this one out. Um, Another one I saw in theaters, which was actually a one I saw about 10 years ago now, or more about 9 years at this point, but in theaters anyway, is La La Land. So this was the musical with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. I don't know if anyone remembers this one. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do, but they put it back in my local movie theater, so I decided to go check it out. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to see again. And so, um, definitely what's really cool about this movie is just obviously the music's really good, and it's definitely a good story. Performances are really good, and the choreography for a lot of these dance sequences and other aspects of the framing of the shot and things are that are great, and how these are well presented in a movie theater are great. Um, just having the movie theater experience and it was a packed theater that I went to. It was not one of their bigger theaters, but it was definitely a very packed theater. And also, I believe, yeah, they do present at the beginning of the movie that this was shot in CinemaScope, and so it's definitely a very wide picture. And just seeing them utilize the framing of all that was really cool. So, and yeah, it sounds really good in the theater. The sound design's fantastic, and just yeah, just very well presented. One of the cool things, this is just at the beginning of the movie where they have like that one big musical sequence on the highway, and it's really cool. Just just like a lot of it looks like it was done in one take. I'll have to so just to be honest, I'll have to look into it and find out if it was all really done in one take or if they might have stitched a couple of moments to make it look like it was one take, but it might have all been done in one take. But still, it's still a really cool thing that they do, and just yeah, it was definitely like it was definitely great to experience this, especially with a bunch of people and just having that experience in a movie theater for this movie again. I always enjoy going back to see a lot of these movies that had come out in the past and just going back to re-experiencing them, or even some that I just go ahead and experience in a movie for the very first time. Um, so these are all, it's always great that to see when studios are putting out their older movies and putting them back into theaters, and for me to either see them for the first time or to see them again. Anyway, and so this was another one of those that I was grateful for. If you haven't seen this movie, I do I do highly recommend checking it out, especially if you're into musicals. Um, it's definitely well presented and definitely a great movie theater presentation. The next one I saw is actually a movie that does not come out until next weekend, but I ended up going to ended up doing a paid early screening. Was Goat. That's GOA. Yeah, Goat. So basically this is the new animated movie by the studio that did the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, as well as last year's K-pop Demon Hunters. So it's got that very unique style or um, of computer animation, and just like how they slow down the frame rate. But it definitely has a very like cool flair. Feels like maybe at times a little, like definitely more of an expression and all that, more personality and all that. It's definitely very unique, and I very like the style of the animation that they use. So I wanted to go see this, and again, this was actually so paid sneak peek and only one showing. So there are quite a few people in this showing today as well, and and so um, I really enjoyed it. I consider it a fun, entertaining movie. This sport, this basketball sport that they play, it's more like an extreme sports version of basketball, actually. So it's not the traditional basketball movie like Hoosiers. It's let's see, yeah. So basically, I think just calling it like an extreme sports version of basketball makes it stand out. So or just more of like basketball with an extreme sports flair to it. That's probably how I would best describe it. Um, and definitely, yeah, the animation is really cool. Um, I don't know if they put out reviews, so I may want to. Again, a lot of this is probably more first reaction, so I may want to be careful. Um, but of course, with them putting out in theaters, anyway. Um, So I'll keep my thoughts pretty brief, but experience in the movie theater was great. Um, definitely colorful animation. Definitely really good. Definitely like good music, like good catchy music and all that. So and definitely well mixed to help take advantage of the whole theatrical experience. So again, I do. This is one of those that's perfect for taking the kids to see. Um, and I did like the story a bit more than I thought I would. Um, I'll probably go into more of it at a later time. Not that it's like super spoilery, but there was an aspect to it that I was kind of surprised by. So, anyway, um, but if you're looking for a movie to take your family to, or if you're taking your kids to, I do recommend going to check this one out. I highly recommend it. It's definitely a fun one. I'd say recommend. So yeah, but I recommend checking this one out. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Goat. I don't know if the review embargo has been lifted. I'm just gonna play safe and just keep the thoughts fairly brief. So, um, anyway, I'll next move into the movies that I've seen at home, and and a few of these I shared. Yeah, I'd say at least three of them I've posted on my Facebook page. So I do have reviews that kind of break down my experience, like of the movie. It's just thoughts about the movie itself, and then my home theater experience. So I'll tell you which ones these are, and then one of them actually I did do a podcast or just a segment recording of. So and I'll point that out as well. Um, the first one, The Mummy Returns. I have done this one on my Facebook page, and it was definitely a lot of fun to experience in my home theater. Um, I definitely really enjoyed this one. It's not as good as the first Mummy with Brendan Fraser or Rachel Weisz, um, but I do. It's still a lot of fun and definitely definitely if you enjoyed the first one and you enjoy like you're totally in for like the campiness of it and realizing I think the visual effects are maybe more CG heavy. I think that's the word I would use. It felt a little more CG heavy than the first one. Though the first one had quite a bit of CG here and there, but some it definitely has that style where it feels maybe slightly more video gamey, but still. Anyway, if you enjoy that kind and you enjoy that kind of movie, I do recommend checking this one out. It's still a fun one. I still enjoy it. Um, and then the home theater presentation is really good. 4K picture looked good, and but the sound was where it really shined. Definitely very immersive. So there's that. This next one here, In Search of Castaways. This is a Disney movie from 1962. I At this time I do not believe it's on Disney Plus. I ended up renting it digitally. I was kind of curious on this and decided to check it out. So, um, I definitely enjoyed it. I watched this one in my modest home theater, so it was a digital rental. Picture was fine and sound was fine. Nothing groundbreaking, but still like it was fun to experience like this older like Disney adventure movie. Um, Definitely some cheesy aspects to it, but definitely I think definitely feels very true to the type of Disney adventure movies that were made during the time. So um, if you enjoy those kind of movies, I do recommend giving this one a watch. Maybe one day they'll put it on Disney Plus, or maybe it might be available again. This was part of the Disney Movie Club for a bit. I never picked it up, um, but maybe one day Disney might re-release it on Blu-ray. Anyway, um, but but in the meantime, if you do want to check it out, you can rent it or purchase it digitally on like services like iTunes or Amazon and all that. So anyway, that's but it was a fun movie. It was fun to see a few cast members. I'm like, oh, right, I think I might recognize that person here and there, and that person there. So yeah, um, but yeah, just it was a fun movie overall. Had a good time. The next one, I'll keep this one very brief, just because I did do a review of it. War of the Worlds. Um, the 2005 version with Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning, and it's directed by Steven Spielberg, and it was definitely a lot more intense than I remembered it being. I've only watched it once, and then just re-experiencing my dedicated home theater was definitely a really good experience. Like the home theater experience was great. So picture looked good, sounded really good, very immersive, and like just because like how it was shot, how I was experiencing it, just I could feel like that scale with some of the shots. So obviously, I never saw this one in theaters. Hopefully, one day they put it back in theaters, but and for like a special engagement. But anyway, it was fun to experience this way. And I do if you're big into Steven Spielberg science fiction movies, I do highly recommend checking this one out. This next one is called Navigator, a medieval Odyssey. This is one that is distributed by Arrow Video. I heard about it and um, I got it on a sale recently. I It looked kind of interesting, so I decided to check it out. I experienced this movie in my modest home theater, so it's on a Blu-ray, and picture and audio quality were good. So yeah, let's start with the movie itself. It mainly takes place like the in the oh man, like I don't even know what exact century would be, but within the medieval times, so in the Dark Ages and all that. And they end up this group of people end up crossing into this tunnel and end up into modern day world, which this was released in, I believe, 1988. So basically around that time. And so, um, and they end up going there, need to accomplish a task, and all that. I was definitely how would I don't want to give too much away, but it was the first I'll say this, the first part when they were in medieval times takes is in black and white, and then when they end up in the into the modern world at the time of the release, they it was presented in color. So that was a very interesting choice, and um yeah, definitely very intriguing choice. I It was definitely like I didn't really know going in what to expect. So, and it was definitely dark in some areas, especially as it got closer to the end. And I think I'll leave it there. But yeah, the picture and audio quality for the home theater presentation was for the modest home theater was good. So I think it's decent. Again, I think it's like a DTS HD 2.0. I think in the for the sound and the pictures 1080p or 2K. So um, again, it's on Blu-ray, but um, if you're looking for an 80s movie that takes place in medieval times, and this was one that kind of caught your interest and you wanted to check it out, I think it's worth a look into. I don't think a lot of people have heard about it. I'd say look in the trailer, maybe, and if it's something that seems to interest you, obviously it's like a lower budget movie, but if it's something that interests you, I'd say um, give it a look. But yeah, so I'm definitely glad I checked it out. It definitely had my interest for a while, and I'm glad I checked it out. The the next one, since this week was Groundhog Day, I decided to watch the movie um, Groundhog Day. So obviously, I have this movie on 4K Ultra HD. I experienced this movie in my dedicated home theater, and it was great to experience this way. And this is another one that I did do a post on my Facebook page for the review, my thoughts on the movie, my experience of the movie, as well as the home theater presentation, which it's definitely great to rewatch each year. It's definitely one of those that's become a yearly tradition for me, and it's one of those that I come to appreciate a lot more details on as I go back and rewatch it. Just even just like even experience in a movie theater, which I did in 2021, and then obviously in my dedicated home theater, and so just noticing like little details about how they presented um, a lot of things for the character, from the shots that were made, from the sound choices and all that, and it's always a great one to go back and rewatch. And again, 4K picture looked great, sound sounded great, like a really great, like a great home theater presentation. Um, and and definitely, if you have never seen this one before, I do highly recommend seeking this one out. Actually, I would say I definitely recommend seeing this one. It was definitely, it is definitely worth seeing. Um, so yeah, next one is Star Trek Insurrection. And as I continue to go through all the Star Trek movies, I watch. I've been trying to watch all the older ones. So and been going through the next generation ones. Again, this is another one that I posted on my Facebook page, and so this was um, this was one I watched on 4K Ultra HD. I watched in my dedicated home theater, and for this movie itself, I did not think it was as good as Star Trek First Contact. Star Trek First Contact was great, and this one still had quite a few good moments, and overall I enjoyed it. Definitely, yeah, and there were some aspects that I really liked. The big ones, like the some of the cool experiences within the home theater, like the one of the space battles within I think 3/4 of the movie. I'm probably off on that, so don't quote me on that. I apologize, but that was definitely a cool experience to experience in the home theater, and yeah, picture and sound were good. I'm definitely happy with the home theater experience and the home theater presentation. So, um, and then yeah, the fine, just overall, I did enjoy it. Just yeah, obviously nowhere near as good as the as like Star Trek First Contact and some of the other ones. And so, um, I if you're a big Star Trek fan, you probably are already seeking this one out, or I've already watched it, and I think it's still a fun one to watch. Obviously, I would say there are ones that I would say seek out first. Star Trek: The Voyage Home, Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country. So, but yeah. Um, so yeah. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that one. This last one I'm gonna talk about is a movie called Brainstorm. Um, this one, I think there's a few, or at least a couple different movies with the title of Brainstorm. And this one is one that's released in 1965. I picked this one up on Blu-ray as part of the Warner Archive collection, and I picked up the Blu-ray. It was on sale, and I thought I would give it a shot because it sounded kind of interesting. And I didn't really look into much into what to expect, so I kind of just took it in as the movie unfolded, um, and it got more and more intriguing as the movie went on. It started off pretty intriguing, but as time went on, as certain things came forth, um, it got more intriguing. And I don't really want to go into too many spoilers because again, this is one that I didn't even watch a trailer before watching this. So, but it definitely ended in a way that I'm like, if you played the movie in front of me, I'm like if you played the first 10 minutes, and you told me, okay, what do you think's gonna happen next? I would have not have expected how it ended up ending. And then, but as things happen, certain things occur. Obviously, it makes sense to like where it could be ending. But yeah, anyway. But it was definitely a very intriguing movie. So, um, definitely a lot like definitely intriguing. It's definitely got that 60s vibe. It's shot in black and white, and it's presented in black and white. Again, I watched this one in my modest home theater. So, and and it was definitely, again, it was a Blu-ray presentation, but the picture looked really good. Um, I think it was scanned in 4K. So, and then just presented in a Blu-ray, and then the sound was more. I think DTS HD 2.0 might be more mono. So, but pretty much DTS HD 2.0, I'm pretty sure. So more in the front. And the experience was definitely like, yeah, again, it was more front heavy, but it was definitely a solid home theater presentation as far as the picture was concerned, and the sound sounded good for the presentation itself. And obviously, when I say that, it's not something that was designed um, to really immerse you in the way that a modern movie will. So it's the presentation, the home theater presentation for what it was designed for and how it was presented is very good for that reason. So again, I'm trying to use the right words to make sure I don't overdo it. So hopefully you guys know what I mean by all that. Anyway, those are some of the movies that I've watched recently. And let's see, the question of the day. Um, I need to go back and think about which ones have I talked about. But the ones, what kind of seating do I prefer? This is the question of the day I'm going to just pick right now. The question of the day will be what kind of seating do I prefer? Do I prefer luxury or do I prefer the standard regular seat, which has been the norm until, I think, until last decade. And then they started putting in more luxury seats. Obviously, I know Cinemark replaced a lot of their regular seats with luxury in a lot of their theaters um, as of as of last decade. And so I've had one conversation one time Where with the luxury, sometimes the hard part is obviously with not as many people get into the auditorium. The seats are so it is kind of it's got their pluses and minuses for each one. The standard seats, you get more people, you get more of like a you can get pretty much a stronger reaction through some of the scenarios that happen. So those are always fun when it's standard seating. But the luxury seats are actually very comfy. Um, Sometimes I will recline them. Other times, if I'm just trying to focus more in on the movie, I'll end up not normally um, putting up the seat to relax. So again, both have their plus and minuses, but I do actually appreciate the luxury seats. They're very nice. So it's hard because both have their great place, and obviously the luxury seats help make it more of a classy theater experience, but also the standard seats help help bring that classic movie theater experience as well. So I think I overall I would say I probably do appreciate the luxury seats maybe just a little bit more, but at the same time, like how I just described it, how there'll be times when I go to the movie and I won't always put up the leg rest, and I'll just end up just kind of more gluing myself onto the screen. So anyway, but yeah, but at the same time, I think I also kind of appreciate the regular seating. There is that classic feel of it being in a classic theater, kind of like how stadium versus non-stadium. I kind of prefer stadium seating a little bit more, but there is something very special about the non-stadium as well. So anyway, I think that's a little bit of enough rambling on me at this time. But thank you again for those that have tuned in. I really appreciate you tuning in and listening to another episode of Movie Theater Explorer. And if you guys want me to answer a question on my on these podcasts, feel free to put a question in the comments, and I'll look into it and I'll try to answer it. Um, I won't make any big guarantees, but I'll do my best there. Anyway, thank you again for tuning in to Movie Theater Explorer, and this is Brent here signing off.